Just the state of Georgia, not just this DA's office, stopped using artists' lyrics against them.
Everybody that gave me hope and encouragement, India Monte stood every day. He watched them say bad things about him.
And they only use lyrics against people of color. And that is what I said in my closing, and that is the God's honest truth. Let's cut that stuff out right now.
And disgrace him. And I had him, and I raised him. They divulged his character.
You have been found not guilty on all charges.
The week, I stood by my child, and he said no, and I said I'm gonna stand with you. I'm gonna stand with you to the end.
What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your host, Jay, and man, today was an exciting day in the YSL trial, but it was also an emotional day for those that were involved with the case. After the verdict came back unanimous as not guilty for Yakgotti, after the verdict, his mother and attorney had a lot to say when it came to the state. Now, it is one thing for the victims' families to be drugged through the case, but let's not also forget about the defendants' families who also went through the same conditions and situations. Let's dig.
I stood down, 10 toes down, every day in, day out. I stood by my son. It was his decision to not take the plea. And I said, whatever you want to do, I want to do. He said, no, I ain't taking the plea. He didn't take it, and we stood down. I prayed. I thank God for all the supporters all over the world. People who were supporting me, texting me, DMing me. I appreciate the love, and the love. All the prayer warriors, I'm thankful. God is good. He did his big one. They used my son rap lyrics against him. How dare they do that? It's the freedom of speech. They just did so much corruptness in this case. And they threw things against the wall and it didn't stick. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I just got so much emotion right now. I'm full. Day in, day out, going to work, having a personal life, coming back down here, sleeping in the courtroom. They having to wake me up, doing this thing over and over and over again repetitiously. Every day. Every day. My son stood up 30 months. My son stood up. And we was victorious. I'm thankful to God that a mother love went beyond the world. And I'm thankful. I never gave up on my son. Never. He said, Mama, I'm not taking it. I'm standing up. And I stood right by him every day. Every day of the week, I stood by my child. And he said no, and I said I'm gonna stand with you. I'm gonna stand with you to the end. And we stood down to the end. You never give up. No matter what's thrown against you, you never give up. Never. And he stood down. And I'm right here every day. Every day I stood up with him. Every night I prayed with him. And I told him, son, this is bigger than you. This is bigger than you. And I'm thankful to the people all over the world that prayed, gave me encouragement. He gave me encouragement. Big Jeff, Miss Sylvia, everybody around me. Taylor, Cole, I got so many people. My family members in Miami, Florida. Everybody that gave me hope and encouragement. India Monte stood every day. He watched them say bad things about him and disgrace him. And I had him and I raised him. They divulged his character. They said bad things about him. But we got the victory. And in life, you never give up. Never. You never give up, no matter how bad it look. God said he'll make your enemy your footstool. I look to the hills where my help come from. I had bad days. I had good days. I had emotional days. But I damn if I was going to give up. And I'm thankful for everybody that's been around me in my life who encouraged me. I'm emotional beyond words. I am emotional beyond words, beyond measures. A mother love. I never will give up. And I taught him that to give up, never give up.
Now, that speech from his mother was very deep and emotional. But did she have a point? In my opinion, absolutely. See, Yak's mother just gave a heartfelt statement reflecting a long, painful journey of supporting her son every single day over the past 30 months. To sit in the courtroom with the victim's family, listening to your actual family member being accused of a crime that they actually later are not even convicted of. Phew. Man, talk about a blow to the face and a blow to the stomach. To listen to a group of public officials actually sit up and characterize someone's character based off of lyrics is wild. Now, it's clear that the state actually tried to paint him as something that he's but not. But the truth actually came out. Now, they used lies, lyrics, and intimidation tactics just to secure a conviction, But remember, the greater the height, the greater the weight. So is it safe to say when it came to this case, the state may have put too much on the plate? So we definitely got to salute to his mother for speaking out against the state and exposing their tactics, their crookedness, their corruption on how they actually handled this case. And speaking of this case, man, we definitely got to spin the block to see what Attorney Weinstein say. Let's dig.
Just the state of Georgia, not just this DA's office, stopped using artists' lyrics against them. We need to pass the RAP Act in Congress to protect the entire country. We need a Georgia RAP Act, and we need to get moving on it now. Just because this trial is over, this fight for the RAP Act should not stop. It should start, it should be ignited. And the DA's office here should stop using people's lyrics against them, and they only use lyrics against people of color. And that is what I said in my closing, and that is the God's honest truth. Let's cut that stuff out right now. Just the state of Georgia, not just...
So let's dig. Now, in my opinion, this case was never really about justice. It was never actually about justice, whether it was for getting it for the defendants or for getting it for the victims that were impacted by this actual case. This was just a clear message from the state. It shows you how the state is willing to use anything to actually get a conviction. The use of lyrics, the state just tried to turn artistry into actual criminality. Then they failed to connect the dots. Why? Because how can the actual states or prosecutors actually use lyrics or artistry, which is supposed to be a freedom of expression that falls under your freedom of speech, to actually get a conviction? Now, to be fair, there are a lot of artists that do say a lot of subliminals that they probably should leave out of these songs, but this actual case should actually be a message, should wake us all up, should be a wake-up call to those that are actually creating their music to watch and actually monitor how it's being expressed. How many artists have we actually seen with this actual case? Just lyrics be used. Looking at Lil Durk right now, lyrics being used. Quando Rondo, lyrics being used. Young Thug, lyrics being used. How many different celebrities have we seen where they asked and they've signed petitions for the states to stop being able to use lyrics, freedom of expression, to get a conviction? Imagine that. The same thing that you get paid for, which is protected by the First Amendment under freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Turn around, you express yourself and get a conviction or end up in the RICO. Make it make sense. Was Weinstein right? Why is it only one genre that's actually being attacked by these prosecutors? Can you name one other ethnic group that actually has been attacked, the lyrics have actually been used in court to try to secure a conviction? And under RICO, man, make it make sense. Now, the state failed tremendously with this because they didn't connect the dots with anything that they came with. Yak's lyrics weren't even part of the actual case, but they still tried to use it just to try to paint their narrative. But they failed. Again, right there on the spot, the state failed to connect the dots. So should prosecutors, DAs around the world actually be able to use lyrics, artistry, freedom of expression to get a conviction? In my opinion, man, absolutely not. Now, luckily, the jury seen right through it. They seen exactly the tactics that the state was actually trying to utilize to go against these defendants. But hey, luckily, like Juror 56 said, music and expression is a form of art. And for the state to actually go that low just to try to get a conviction, to try to prove a point, they got exactly what they sold. This is the seed that the state sowed, trying to actually overthrow. Remember, Supreme Court of Georgia told Judge G during this trial, it was a ruling that the lyrics were not even supposed to be actually used in there. Y'all remember Judge G overruled that? He still admitted those lyrics in when it came to Young Thug. That's how we got Slime's Lizard Walk. Come on, man, make it make sense. This was a premeditated play from the state that actually backfired, in my personal opinion. But let's hear what Juror 56 really had to say about the case and the state's use of lyrics. Let's dig.
Is it actually telling a real story? What did you guys think about the lyrics, and how much did that weigh into your decision?
I believe in freedom of speech, regardless if we agree or disagree, and it is a very thin line to take lyrics and to put it into trial. He is an artist, he's expressing himself, and I think that we go into a slippery slope when we start to analyze lyrics and music. And that is something that I have to disagree with wholeheartedly. I personally don't believe that lyrics should not have been brought into the format or to be tried. I believe in freedom of speech, and I think that's what he was doing, expressing his music, and he has a huge following, and I wish him the very best.
Is it actually telling a real story?
So let's dig. Did the jury get it right or did the jury get it wrong? Now, we've already said over and over again, the state was failing to connect the dots. We've heard several times, I've said it myself, the state is throwing anything they can to the wall just to make it stick. Now, even more sick, the hand-picked jurors that they picked from the state to actually come up here and actually deliberate this case, even they said that the state was out of line. They don't believe that the lyrics should actually be used or utilized against defendants when they're just expressing their arts and their artistry. So ask yourself this: why would the state try to take that and use it as leverage when it came to this case? Now they said, and it was reported from the beginning, that this case was supposed to be an open and closed case and situation. I knew when the state had to use the evidence that they were presenting, and then they turned around and actually said, hey, we're going to utilize these lyrics, Judge G overruled and allowed the lyrics to come in, I knew then that the state was definitely reaching. Because on an open and closed case, why do you have to have songs to actually prove your actual narrative? The narrative was whatever they wanted it to be. Whatever they assumed, whatever they believed, that was the actual narrative when it came to this RICO trial. So I definitely want to say salute to the jurors for saying through the lies, saying through the truth within the lies, better said. Now, I do want to talk about Yak and his mother, because that was actually deep as well. For his mother, y'all remember the song Dear Mama? Man, imagine the pain that she's definitely endured. On the flip side of that, imagine the pain that the victims' families have endured just going through this. So that whole Dear Mama situation is not just for one specific side, that's for both sides. Because both sides have a family member that's involved in this loss with this situation from this case. The state just keeps on coming and coming and coming and coming. How do they explain this now to the victim's family that they drugged through this process? Even more sick, the victims' families didn't even believe that these defendants were actually the ones responsible for the actual incidents from that night. But how would you feel if somebody keeps coming up and inflating you, and telling you, hey, we finally got it right, to realize at the end, it was just another lie.
Come see him. Let him know it's okay. We're going to be all right as a family. Because they might not been found guilty in the eyes of the law. And those fake ass jurors they had up there. But guess what? We got this. Because we know the truth. We know what happened. And I just had to come see my baby, let him know that we got this.
It's sad.
Just as I was in the end. And it's always going to be lonely enough forever. I'm just mad as hell. And I ain't going to say I'm mad at the state, because them people did what they can do. And just those bastards got there and lied and played. And I was paid off, even to the jurors, the deputies. They were all full of bullshit down there. They only saw what they want to see. And people who, the bloggers and all that, they didn't see the inside of what was really going on in that courtroom. I know in my heart of heart and stuff, I was paying attention to. It was a lot of injustice going on just with people, period, in that courtroom. From the deputies, I know for a fact. And just stuff that was going on in general. But at the end of the day, we got this. And it's always, like I said, going to be long live, not forever. I'm going to be okay. We as a family going to be okay. And we're going to get through this. But right now, I'm just mad. I'm upset. But I still got my faith. My grace and mercy and the higher power that we do serve. And I just had to come to let my baby know that Mama was there. Your daddy was there. We was there. Ned was there. Your stepmom was there. We fought. We fought a good fight. And we're going to continue to fight. And we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. But mom just had to come see you and just talk to you and let you know. I'm like, I have never got over here and just broadcast my business and spoke my piece and was spoke. And right now, I think it's time for me to do this. I sat there and I didn't want to go down to hear a verdict. And I kind of wasn't in there, but I already knew it was going to be some bullshit with this. I just kind of felt it in my spirit this morning. So I kind of procrastinated. And we got there, of course, it was the unthinkable was heard, not guilty. But though they know they're guilty. They knew in 2010, January 15th, that they were all guilty. And the parents, they could sit down there and clap. I'm without words, y'all. I'm without words. I truly am without words. But I just thank God for the love and support that people have been with my baby through this process. And to all the people who just, it was so many. This case was tried basically on social media bullshit. All those bloggers that think they know the system and what happened. We as a family, we the people know what happened. We really know what happened. But
Can you hear me?
like I said, at the end of the day,
Yes.
we as a family, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this, and it's still gonna be long lived, not forever. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, my baby is, y'all. I just had to come see him and let him know it's gonna be okay. Somebody already been up here to visit him, y'all, with a Patron bar. They know his drink of choice. But like I said, it's gonna be okay. Cause victory is ours in the end. And I'm gonna keep smiling, I'm gonna keep crying, I'm gonna keep laughing. And I just want y'all to keep screaming his name. Long live not forever. Let them know they haven't done anything.
So in my opinion, the state, man, should definitely be ashamed just based off of how they handled this case, especially when it came to the defendants, the actual evidence, and the families of the victim. Now, in my opinion, it's clear that the state had one goal, one objective here, and that was just to try to get a conviction. Now, this conviction, does that mean justice for the families? Absolutely not. As we saw with this case, the state is all about the state. And let's dig a little deeper and even talk about the state. Now, I also found it very disrespectful for the actual DAs to actually get up and leave at the end of this actual trial while the verdict is actually being read. So at this point, no communication with the family, no justice, and man, y'all didn't even stay to hear the verdict be read. But just imagine if the actual verdict was in reverse, where these defendants were actually found guilty. Would we have actually seen the state? And would each DA that actually represented this false information when it came to the evidence of this case actually still be right there in place? Let that sink in. And let's be clear, I do want to make sure that I say rest in peace to Nut and definitely send my condolences to his family with that loss that they're still actually going through to this day just because of the state. The situation itself is definitely sad, but should his mother actually be mad with the state or the actual jury in this case? Remember, the jury only had one job to do. The rest of the case was built off the state. Let that sink in. So yeah, while Yak and his family actually celebrate this victory, just think about this. The impact of this trial will be felt for years to come and after. It's clear that the state's use of lyrics as evidence was a key point of contention, and with this verdict, it raises serious questions about whether art can be or should be used as a prosecutorial tool, to use as evidence just to go for a conviction. And will we really be talking about lyrics in this case if the previous judge that was over and presiding over the case from the state allowed the lyrics to be used for this case? So let's dig. What y'all think about the state's tactics when it came to this case? Were they fair to the defendants? Were they fair to the victims' families? Were they fair to the evidence or the jury when it came to this case? Y'all jump in the comments, let me know. Secondly, question I do have to ask, should rap lyrics be able to be utilized in court? used against defendants to actually try to be used as evidence for a conviction. Now, the other thing I do want to make sure that we tap in on is the fact that, hey, the jury only had one job to do. And I understand that this is actually like a blow in the face, and it should be. It definitely should be a blow in the face because the state did this. The sad part is the state would have been in there jumping for joy had they actually won this case. The sad thing is you see how they acted knowing that they lost the case. So was this case ever actually about justice, or was the state actually proving a point? Somebody's face card just got blemished, some just got cleared. But one thing that you can't take away or take back is the mothers that go through these pains and the ones that shed the tears. Over the years that we've watched this actual case evolve, imagine how long this family has definitely been going through it. The sadder thing about it is the way that the state actually presented this case. It's not just about justice in the courtroom, because it's all been about street politics. So in my personal opinion, the state really just enticed and enhanced this actual alleged situation between these actual co-defendants and these individuals. Y'all just built a whole nationwide speculation. We watched the DA stand up there in her closing argument. These boys are guilty. They have done it. They committed these crimes. The jury went back and deliberated not guilty in just a matter of time. And where's that watch? Never mind. But just to be back serious, think about that. Look at the character. Look at the witnesses that they put up here. Look at the life that the state actually exposed and jeopardized just to try to get a conviction that wasn't even proven. Man, y'all know the vibes, man. The greater the height, the greater the weight. The life you save might be your very own. And this case is a sad situation. And we definitely want to salute to everybody that was involved, the defense, the mothers, the ones here, those defendants that's gone. Man, one thing about it is the jury got it right, the state got it wrong. Until next time, I'm your host, Jay. Man, y'all subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. We're not done. We ain't going nowhere, man. We got a whole nother case, and we got more cases and entertainment information to break down. We just getting started. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tap the notification bell so you won't miss a drop. And remember, as always, I'm your host, Jay. Gone.